Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of the accessories for the MEGA DEATH STAR diorama, and it is actually this, the large blast shield door. Now everything that you need is on site and it's not that complicated as you'll be seeing in the video. So enjoy! My name's Frank Diorio, you're watching dioramaworkshop.com. Okay, here's everything you need in order to make the large blast doors. We start with the basic black foam core. If you can't find black foam core, white foam core works, but black is better when you're working with dark decals in order to hide the seams. You can use regular paper, but I prefer to use full-size label sheets because then you can just print directly on them and then peel them and stick them onto the foam core. No need for glue. And then on my website you can find the free blueprints for the large blast doors, and you can find the free decals that you'll need to act as the skin. Now in terms of materials, standard hot glue. I like the 2 temperature one, works best. Hot glue refills, glue stick for some of the spine decals, some refills of your retractable X-Acto knife, an X-Acto pen with little pointy X-Acto pen refills here as well, a pencil sharpener, and a hole puncher in order to facilitate the curves that you will have if you select the open door model. The easiest way to find your blueprints and decals is go to dioramaworkshop.com. Go to the tutorials menu, select speed index. From here, scroll down until you find what you're looking for. You want to build the Death Star blast door large. You will be selecting yes from the decals and yes from the blueprints. So if you click on decals, open up to the decal page. For the blast doors, scroll down. This is the pages that are available in your kit. Here's the link for your PDF. You're going to click on that, and that will open the PDF that you can print on your computer at home. Same thing for the blueprints. Select blueprint. From here, click on your blueprints PDF icon, which loads the blueprint page, and you just need to download and print that. First thing you want to do is make sure that you have a fresh blade inside of your utility knife, because foam core is the killer of blades, and if you get dull blades you will not make smooth cuts. Now when you look at the blueprints, the first thing that we want to do is create a 27 centimeter wide by 15 centimeter high rectangle. So take your ruler, place it at the bottom of your piece. We want 27. Put your mark here. That's 27. Then you measure 27 from the top. Draw a straight line between the two. 15. Another 15 is 30. Then 45, 15, 30, 45. Now we need 8 of these identical panels, so let's make another mark right away over here. From where you measured this 27, you're going to measure a 27 over here. So 27 would bring us to here. 27. So from here to here, 15. here to here, another 15, and then 15 brings us there. So now I have, it's hard, you might not see the lines, but now I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels, and I need 2 more. 27 here. And then do I have another 27? Oh, 23. No. Okay, well, at least I have 1 more. I'll have to get a second piece of foam core for that. That's okay. You can always never get enough. Never have enough foam core. 27. Then 15. When you go to cut your pieces of foam core, make sure that your knife is straight like this. Do you see? Don't lean it to the sides, because then you'll have an angled cut. You want to try to keep the blade as straight as possible. So here we go. With a new blade, it should cut really nicely. And see, you have a perfect cut along the side here. When you use a new blade, you don't really need to press that hard. You can just let it slide through like butter. That's why it's dangerous for your fingers. You have to make sure that your fingers are far away enough from the ruler. Trust me on that one. Okay, so now let's cut the little 15-inch pieces there. Now that sheet gave us 7 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 8. I have to go and trim 1 more piece from a new sheet of foam core. 15 centimeters on this end. Now 27. Brings us here. 27. Join the 2 together. And now we're ready to cut. You can always snap your blade off at one of these dents if your cuts are starting to make little holes in the side of your foam core pieces. Another trick that you can have when you're starting a cut in the middle of a piece, you can use your pointy end over here. Now the pointy end, you place it where the intersection is, and then you just move downwards. And see this angle here? This is the angle that you want to press down, not angle like this or like that. You want to follow the edge of your foam core. So if this was the thickness, see how the edge would follow like this? And so that's what you'd want to do. You'd want to poke here and then just follow down instead of following down like this. You just try to make it parallel. We now have our 8 pieces of foam core rectangles. These pieces will go to create these 4 layers of the Blastdoor. If you're doing a closed door diorama, you only need sheet number 1 and 2. With scissors, you would just carefully go along the edges. If you want to be more precise, you could always use a ruler and your X-Acto. All you need to do is take your left and right decals. You'll apply the left decal first with glue stick or peeling the decal if you're using sticky sheets, and then overlap the right side in order to create the full closed door effect. If you're doing the open blast doors, you'll need to print 2 times page 3, 2 times page 4, 2 times page 5, 2 times page 6, and only 1 time of page 7. Okay, we're starting with the front and the back pieces for the large blast door. If you're only doing the view from the front, you don't have to do the second decal. But if you're going to place it where you'll be able to view it from a left and right side, then you'll need to do the 2 times of this next step. So for the front part, you want to make sure that you only cut out the outsides, okay, of the door first. You don't want to touch the inside. You want to apply the decal to the foam core before, and then you will cut the inside shapes. This was printed on my Avery full-size sheets. As you can see, you can just peel without having to use glue, but you want to cut it out first. Okay, so separate loosely the 2 pieces. Okay. This just makes it easier to cut precise after. Now, where I started cutting, it started making this little chad there. I got this little chad from cutting, which means that the blade needs to be cut and replaced. So we're just going to trim off this little piece. Align it with this metal part, right? Then you're going to flip it upside down. You're going to cover your hand. Don't press down on it. You just want to cover it so it doesn't pop out in your eye by accident. So cover, press, and snap. Dull blade, new blade. Make sure to have a container to put your used blade so that you don't cut yourself and protect others from reaching in and cutting themselves. I use 2 paper plates with some masking tape, and then I just slide the blade in like that. Okay, let's cut only on the outside. And you want to trim at these ends too, so just like this. Press down when you cut so that your piece of paper doesn't slide all over the place. Same thing on this end. Now you have 1/2 of it cut the way you're supposed to. Now let's do the other half. See the nice crisp edges you're getting with a new blade. Okay, again press hard on this zone. Then press hard on this zone. You now have the 2 halves of your door. Now there will be a slight overlay on top so that it matches perfectly. So what we want to start doing is put the left piece first. If you haven't used sticker decal sheets, you can use your glue stick to put it on both sides so that you'll have kind of like a slippery texture, and it'll allow you time to like jiggle it around and make sure that it's nice and clean instead of locking it. Never use hot glue for decals because that will create bubbles underneath the paper and you'll have all these warped skins on your diorama pieces. Before peeling or gluing, it's always nice to make a dry run so that you can make sure that your piece fits perfectly, that the cut is well. So this is what we want to do, okay? We want to align it with the edge here and at the bottom and at the top. So I will now start peeling my piece over here. corner over here. I made sure not to cut my nails because I knew I needed to peel the stickers. I trimmed all my other nails except for my thumb. Okay, so now I want to align carefully. Don't place it flat like this right away. You want to start with only the edge here, and then you're going to be applying it like that, right? So start here, make sure that everything is aligned nicely, right? Then press down here, and then slowly move it towards the edge like that. You want to prevent bubbles, so you want to just carefully roll it over, right? You can rub like this. So I have my first half attached to my foam core rectangle. Now we're going to go and do this side, which when we align here, you will see that it will overlap a little bit onto the edge. So the overlap is so that if you had cut just a little bit off, and then even if you had a little gap, see, without the overlap, you could have had a little gap like this, and then that would have like ruined the illusion that it's a one piece decal. Okay, so let's do the dry run. Overlap looks good. I'm just going to peel. I'm going to peel this off. Then I'm going to carefully align it like I did the other one with the end. Okay, now when you go align this carefully to make sure that it fits, and it does, so now I can put pressure on it. Then go here, and this should align as well. Yes, it does. Okay, now here's the tricky part. You can see that the Blastdoors have these rounded corners here. So this is where your hole puncher will come in, where you can punch circles to help you with the straight lines after, to connect the dots, if you will. If you don't have that, you can use one of these X-Acto pens, which will allow you to carefully cut around the circular angles. It's trickier, but the more sharp your blade is and the more slowly you go, you'll get nicer edges. And remember, what you want to do is you want to cut like the bleed. You want to cut not along this black line, you want to cut in between the black line and the white. So along this blue zone, which is the bleed. So when you cut, if your cut's not perfect, you're not going to get a white overlap, which will create like a white line around the frame. Okay, I'm going to do an example using only the X-Acto blade, and then one example using the hole puncher, so you could see the difference that the two results give you. In both cases, we want to remove a big chunk of the center, since we won't be needing it. So don't get too close to this yet. We'll deal with it later. So just go ahead, carefully cut out maybe about a centimeter, half an inch from where you're going to have to cut. That'll allow you more wiggle room to do the precise cuts. some of the pieces haven't gone through completely there. Just flip it upside down, cut the little trimmings, just pop them, and you should be able to remove your piece just like this. This you don't need. You can keep this to cut out smaller pieces in future dioramas, but for the Blastdoor you don't need it. So this is what your open Blastdoor basically will look like once it's cleaner. I did a second piece that I will trim exactly the same way as well. Carefully pop that out, toss this out. I have the two frames now. This one would be flipped around for the thickness, so that if you look at it one direction, it would be like this, and then if you view it the other direction, then you have the other side. If you're only viewing it one direction, like I said, then you don't need to do the second one. You only need to do the first one, as this side would be hidden and no one would see it. I will show you the example with the hole puncher on this piece. So what you want to do is you want to take your punch, you want to slide it in, you want to go as close to the edge as possible, and then press down. So it can create a crease, but it'll give you a perfect circle that fits around the edge here. So just repeat that for the other pieces. Now you will have holes at every corner. Now you can use your X-Acto and then just slice to connect the dots like that. If you put a piece of scrap like this, then you can lean your ruler and there won't be any wobbling motion, and you'll get a more clean cut on this end. So I want to go from one circle, again, do the press down technique, following the foam core like this, not like that. I want to go down into the circle. This you can do multiple passes, because you want a clean edge. Oops. See, I wasn't pressing strong enough and I made the foam core slip. So press down strong, do multiple passes. Right? And then at some point this will come off. Now what you want to do is cut from the circle out. So if I continued to cut all the way here, I could damage the decal by cutting too much into it. So to remove this piece, what you do is you flip it over, then you align the other cut that you made, and then you go from the circle, pressing down to the outside cut. This way your piece now comes off, and then where your circle was, you have the cut angle over here. Then you repeat for the other ones. Just go slowly from here to there. Don't go all the way. Stop maybe 3/4 of the way. Then you'll be flipping it and removing the other piece this way from the circle towards the center. Removing that. Do the same thing. Now do the opposite sides of the circles. So now you have your frame cut. Now you'll notice that it's not 100% perfect, but it's very hard to get these little round corners accurate at this scale. What you can do now is you can use a pencil and you can rub the corners like this to help make it rounder. Just go around pressing a little bit all the way around. Try to go, if you're moving up and down like this, go press inwards, then let go, press inwards and let go. That way you're not tugging at the decal in the opposite direction of what you're going to be viewing it. You want to just rub it this way, like that. When your blade is not sharp anymore, you create these bubbles, which is not good, but we have a skin that will hide that. So this is what you don't want. When you start seeing this, it's time to change your blade. What you want is this. Clean, crisp cuts. Now this is the example using the hole puncher. Now let's try going precise using only this tool, which is your pointy X-Acto. What you want to do is you want to poke it straight down and then gently curve it along the edge. This is handheld without the ruler, so it's a little trickier. So I want to press down, go like this, and then carefully turn and follow the line. Stop just before, and then you don't have to go through all the way the first try. Just keep going. Just make sure your blade is not angled. You want to keep it as straight as possible, up and down. So then we go like this. Turn again. Keep going. I find it useful to turn your piece like this because your wrist at some point has a natural movement that allows it to do nicer cuts than go against it. So here we have a little curve here too. Then go straight. You stop a little after the curve because then you can use the ruler to match up each ends. So keep going down, curve. Okay, that's that. You can turn it around. You can see that the curve went all the way through. Now you do this for all the other sides. So we're going to start here. Remember, you don't want to cut on the white line. You want to cut inside the bleed, which is between the pale, for the bottom, between the pale blue and the white. So press down, go straight, slowly curve. Go straight again. Go a bit deeper. Curve. Go down. Now, third time, go all the way through. Turn this a little bit. Put your where it's comfortable for you to cut. Carefully turn. Go down. Cut across. Carefully. Now if you feel that it's not cutting anymore, it's time to change blade. Remember, foam core is the killer of the blades. So if I'm just going to cut along here, I'll just trim this, hold on, so you can see what I'm talking about. And here we'll just cut this here. And if I join these two, this is a short, so I don't really need it. Flip it, the pieces look okay. This should pop out like this. And this gives you a little bit nicer edges because you don't have the crush of the paper, but so that's how this is how you get the curves. Now what you're going to do is you're going to continue on the other side. As you can see, the X-Acto is starting to rip at the foam core, so it's time to change blade. Simply unscrew just a little bit. This will loosen the blade. You'll be able to pop it out. Take a new blade, insert it. Watch your fingers, you don't want to cut yourself. Then re-screw this as tight as possible. Now the blade will be secure. Remember to take your old blade and stick it. Now redo the same thing. Poke. Turn. Go straight. Poke. Spin. Okay. Let's see. Okay, just join these two. There you go. Make sure to always put your cover back on, your protection cover, when you're not using this. Now I can connect the two pieces here to get a nice clean straight line. Same on the other side. So here's the difference between the hole punch and the X-Acto blade. So the hole punch has, the downside is that you have little crushed areas on some of the surfaces because you're actually squishing the foam core. The downside on when you're using your hand is that it's trickier to get it around, and it might not be a perfect circular shape the way that you have here, but both ways are really good. It's up to you which tool that you want to use, and you know, if you don't have a hole puncher, you could still just use the X-Acto and it still works fine. Okay, so now the Blastdoor is actually 2 thicknesses thick of foam core. And that's where these other pieces that you cut previously come in. So you're going to want to grab one piece of your foam core, rectangles, and you want to align it with the door frame that you just cut out, okay? So you align it perfectly, trace, but here's where this will change. This is your center pieces. You want this to be a 90-degree angle. So what you're going to do is you're going to align your ruler with the top line, and you're just going to continue your line to the corners like that. Then you're going to do the same thing for this side. Just do a straight line. And flip this around. Straight line continued. then here, same thing. And what this gives you is angled lines here. When you cut your shape, you're going to be cutting all the way to here. You're not going to be cutting this. All your angled corners, you don't want that. Okay? So cut along the edges of the corner, from one corner to the other. This way again. And then we'll cut the other angle, the other side of the corners after, so that you get a perfect cut. So you only want to cut from this corner to stop about here, so that when you flip it the other way, then you'll be able to cut the other edge from here going towards center again, and then you'll get a perfect square here. Remember to snap your blade if you start feeling that your foam core is getting eaten. Press down. And just trim over here. Any loose ends. This should pop out perfectly. Keep your center for scrap for another diorama. You now have a frame like this with straight angles. Your front part has these corner angles, and this one has straight angles. This will go behind for the second, oh, that's the bottom. This will go behind like this and be the second thickness and of the Blastdoor. This will be like that. Once you finish cutting out this piece, you're going to take your 3 remaining pieces and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to place it one at a time on top, align it so that it's flat, perfectly square. And then you're going to now take your pencil and trace inside this line. Same thing on the other side. Make sure to press in the corner so it doesn't slide when you use your pencil. There's your shape. Then go reverse side. Put your scrap piece. Pop that out. What we want to do now is take the 4 remaining pieces that we have as our backgrounds and then match them up with the frames that we just cut like this to create our 2 thicknesses. So now you'll have the 2 thicknesses of the middle pieces and 2 thicknesses of the front and back of your doors. Okay, you're going to take your hot glue and you're going to glue all around your frame here. Okay, and then you're going to carefully align the outsides and press it down to make a double thickness like that. Grab the next one. You have to act fast because the hot glue dries quickly. Align it. Press down. Now we have 2 center pieces that are double thick. Okay, it's time to glue the center pieces. Same thing. Align it properly. Like this. Press down. Last piece here. Flip it around. Align it. And then press it down. You now have your front, back blast doors and the number 2 and number 3 center pieces. Since the pieces are glued together, your cut will be matching exactly the front piece. So when you're going to be putting the stickers for the center skins, it'll align perfectly and shouldn't create any wobbly or bubble effects. So I replaced a new blade. When you're cutting to match, you want to extend the blade as much as possible, and you're going to slice it at a lower angle like this. I'm going to freehand this because I'm used to it. If you don't feel safe, you can always use a ruler, match up with what you have, and then again, try not to angle your knife sideways like that. You want to keep it as straight as possible. Now I can cut on the inside. I'm going to just go freehand here. Press down, and then I use the guide going slowly. Again, don't go all the way to the end here. You're going to do it in the reverse. So I cut that. See, now I can reverse it this way and get the other end, and by pushing down again like this, press down, then pull, down and pull. And I'm going to do this side here, press down, then pull, press down and pull. Flip it, press down, pull, down and pull, press down, pull, press down, pull, press down, pull. Okay, now this should pop out. There we go. And see, now we have a perfectly matching edges all the way around. The other piece, look on the outside if there's any pieces that need trimming. A little piece over here. See, just a little sliver. Press down, slide, press down, press down, slide, press down, there we go. Excellent. You can see the difference between fresh blade over here and a used blade under. See how it made all these holes and it tore into the foam core? That's what happens when you use a blade that's cut too many pieces and has become dull. Okay, so our 2 center pieces are done. Layer 2, layer 3, complete. Put them aside for now. It's time to cut this one. A bit more intricate, but the same principle. Trim the edges. Press down. Press down. Don't go all the way, just a little bit there. Center. It's a bit trickier, these shapes, because it's the front angled octagon. Try to align as much as you can with the top shape. Use the top shape as a guide. Now if you want to see if you went all the way around, you flip it over like this. You can see that there's contact points missing over here. So I have to go and touch up on this side like this for that. And then there was this contact point here. So those points are done. Now I'm missing this whole side here to get all together. And then on this side. Okay. Now, to join everything, get your little X-Acto blade back out, and then what you want to do is you want to try to connect the pieces, the lines. Just don't go too deep. You just want to connect like this. So that you'll be able to poke out your piece. You're just breaking the last remaining connections here. Like this. Just use the point of your tool. Now you're doing circular angles, so it's not easy and it won't be perfect. If we wanted the doors to be perfect, we'd have to use like laser cutting or something like that. But this is just to make it more, this is more the arts craft approach. So from here, gently see until it pops out. There we go. So you can clean off the little edges that stick out. The important thing for this piece is not perfection, because of the angled, you'll never get that unless it was machine cut. So because it's arts and craft project, you'll have some imperfections, but that shows kind of like the love that you put into it. The important thing though, what I was mentioning or trying to mention from the beginning, is that the thicknesses of your double layer match up exactly by having cut them with the 2 pieces glued together. When we're going to be putting the skin, which is going to be the center layer decal, it'll hide all the little imperfections that you have inside. Okay, let's cut this now. Again, don't angle. Try not to angle your blade. Try to keep it as straight as possible with the edge of the foam core. You want to make a 90-degree cut. You don't want to like angle it. So let's go down here in the corner. Press down. Do this one on this end. Over here. So again, press down, then pull across. Press down, pull across. Press down, pull across. Press down, pull across. Press down, down. Okay, now we go in the opposite direction. Go down over here until you join up where you cut. Down, 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 over here. Like this, down across. Again, if you forget, you can look over on this side. See, I can tell where it hasn't met. This is where you just connect the lines, like poking it like that, carefully. Pop it out, just like that. Again, don't worry if your pieces look all poopy like this. You're going to be able to hide this with the decals. Protector cap, always on. Remember these center pieces from your rectangles? You're going to take these now, 6.5 centimeter, and then 6.5 centimeter. Draw your line. I'm just going to do a quick cut like this because it's, you could use a ruler if you're not used to doing freehand. One rectangle, 6.5 centimeter by 6.5 centimeter. We want 3 of these. So trace like this. And then trace again. Okay, you're going to take your ruler now and you're going to go from one point to the other because we want to make triangles. So you're going to just take your blade, cut like this. You're making Doritos. So cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now it's time to grab the free decals that you printed off on your printer. We're going to trim all of the pieces so that we can start applying it to the blast doors. You could use scissors, but I'm using my X-Acto blade to get a more precise cut. When you use your X-Acto knife, you can do better curves here. You can always use scissors if you prefer to just like trim little edges. Around here it'll be more complicated. Cut this. If you do have a hole puncher, you can punch the holes at the edges as well. Then you have your corners exactly round and you can just match up using your X-Acto. Okay, I prefer scissors. For these are your folding lines. So you don't want to cut along these, you want to cut only on the outside. This is our 6 Doritos that we cut earlier. So what you're going to want to do is you want to notice that where the red marks are, this is where you're going to slice it in between each shape, because this is 3 decals. You'll be cutting along the outside, but then you'll be using where the red was in order to do your cut. So start with the red first and then cut the rest. Align the ruler with the red pieces and then slice that. Then do the same here. Align the red pieces, or the red dots I should say, the lines. Slice that. Now you're ready to cut all the way around. You'll notice that here you have angles over there. You want to trim these angles, then do your cut. Hi, Nitty Poo. After a few minutes, you should have all your decals cut and ready to assemble. You have the rear of your Blastdoor fronts and back. You have the bottom and the sides of layer 2 and 3. You have your Dorito skin, and then here you have the sides and the bottoms and the tops of your front Blastdoors. Let's start with the easiest, the Doritos. This is your folding line, which is the thickness of your Dorito piece. So this, basically what you're doing is if you fold along the line like this, right? And then you have the other folding line. In theory, this sandwich is in between to give you this. So let's peel little corner here, a line in the center, press, fold. This is going to be the piece that sticks out like this to give the illusion that the Blastdoor has been opened. Now whatever sticks out like this, we just want to trim. Okay, our 6 Doritos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, are done. For your frame, pieces 2 and 3, you're going to need the long center strip and the side center strip. So this goes at the top and bottom, and this goes on the side. The only thing you have to make sure is to align the white with the black. Don't align it like this. When it'll be placed properly in frame, you want to make sure that those two connect correctly. I did it on purpose to make them a little bit longer you place it on one side, okay, and then you're just going to flip it around and you're going to mark with your pencil the excess and you're going to trim that off. Your skin should fit perfectly. For this part, even if you're using decal stickers, I would suggest that you use Yoo-hoo or glue stick like this on top of it in order to make it, one, stick more solid, and two, give you the luxury of jiggling things around so that you have some playtime that you don't have if you're using only the sticker. Start by folding again your decal along the fold line. When you're using decal sheets, it's a bit trickier because you have that whole wax paper to bend as well on the other side there. Do a dry fitting. See, this goes around like this, and it'll hide all of the bumps that you see here, plus the crack in the center. Start by putting a bit of glue on the base on both pieces. Put as much as you want. There's no rules here. Peel your decal. Place it aligned with the center there. So make sure you put it perfectly here, like that. Everything seems snug and aligned. See, when you have the glue stick behind, see, you can wiggle it a little bit more than you can just by sticking it. Now press down firmly in the center, and like you did with the Doritos, bend it like that into the other side, see? Like this, from the center to the outside. Center to outside. Now turn it. Do the same thing. You're going to go from inside to outside. Center inside to outside. Like this. And from, usually if you work from center outwards, that's better. You don't want to go like start at this corner and work yourself up, or go this way on the way down. You always want to start in the center, fold in the center, work your way to the edge of your sticker, like that, okay? So that's how you do your first skin. Once the first skin is attached, remember that black and white demarcations, the folding lines that I showed you before. That's, you have to match those now to the one that's applied first, okay? So my black lines are on the outside here, which means that the black line on this decal will have to fit this way. If you happen to cut too much off, like I did over here on purpose just to show you, see how you have this black piece of foam core that's exposed here? You don't want that. So what you can do is that before you apply this big piece here, you'll take the little snippet that you chopped off and you'll align it completely to the edge like this, and then it'll be touching the corner and hide the black foam core. And then once your long piece is attached, it'll overlap with that little piece that you just cut, and once it's all folded, it'll all blend into one piece. Okay, apply it all the way at the bottom. Okay, you see how that's applied? Okay, now you can put a bit on the sides as well if you want. On the back side, there. Align it exactly to the edge here. Because you use the glue stick, you're able to move this around and make sure it's aligned even properly. Okay? Then you make sure that it's aligned on this end as well. And then from here, you're just going to press down on the center like that. Okay? Then at the center here, you're going to move down like this. Don't start there. Start at the center. Center, move down. Then make your way towards the outside. Center, outside. Center, fold over like this. Okay. Then you do the same over here. Fold towards the outside. Like that. Now on this side, same thing, right? Center, press over. Center, press over towards the outside. See, there was a little fold. I don't know if you could see the fold here. That way, by pressing it that way, the fold, you're able to push the air bubble away. Fold, fold, fold this way, fold. Oh, see the crease? Let's see if I can see how. See the crease there? See, so by pushing it this way, I can now move it. See? Now it's gone. If I had started at the center, then the pressure would have been on both ends and it would have been hard to move it away. So just push it out like that. So now we have blue instead of black foam core. Okay. Blue there, the top. And then flip it around. And some glue on this side. Peel this. So make sure that you align it, pull it, so that the thickness is here. That's good. And then here the thickness is there as well. So let's start push down in the center. Work your way out. Center on the way out. So there. Now it's nice, flat. Center, fold. Center, fold. Center. Make your way to the edge. Like that. Okay. Then you flip it around and you do the other end. So center, fold, center, fold. My love runs cold. Fold on the other side, and the same thing, like this, here, like that. Okay, excellent. Then here, the same thing, fold, fold. Take your glue stick, put a bit of glue here, like that. Fold it over, center over. There we go. Apply it on the inside edges, then here, and over here. So we have one more decal for this. White side is here, which means it goes this way. Align your edges, wiggle them if you need to, wiggle the bottom, then you press center outwards, center outwards. You know the drill by now. Center, fold it, center fold towards the outside. Center fold like this towards the outside. Flip it over here. Fold, fold, fold. Fold, fold, fold. So here you have the finished side skins placed on your frame number 2. Now you're going to repeat this on your frame number 3, and then the center pieces of the blast doors will be done. Once your layer 2 and 3 are completed, you can take these and put them aside for now, and it's time to work on your frame. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is on the back use these rear decals, okay, that will overlap in the center over here. And this is again only to hide the fact that you don't want to see just a black background once you stack it with these. Do you see how you have a white line from the thickness of the paper that will appear? What we want to do is remove that, and in order to do so you take a black Sharpie. So you just want to do the sides. You don't want to go on the front. So just a quick layer under like this. The only part you don't want to do is these end tips, because when it overlaps onto each other you want it to blend. You don't want to have like a big thick line like this that would show, so you want it to blend. So don't put any black on this, only on the inside edges. So peel the edges. Place it along the edge like this. Move it a little bit if you can, like that. Pull it towards the center there. You want to curve whatever is outside here towards the inside. You can use your nail like this to bring it in if there is any overlapping. For the other side, again, let's dry test it. Once you have the back skin on, then move on to the other piece and repeat the same steps. Okay, now that you have the decals on your layer 1 and layer 4, it's time to put the center skins on. So the side pieces have 4 little slots in the center with 2 where the angles are, and then for the bottom and top you have this 13 little groove piece over here. Find our centers, right? So press down once you think that you're happy with where it's supposed to be. Use your finger. Make sure that it's pressed against the back here. And then do the other dent over here, like that. This will help you a lot when you're going to go place them in their position. Same thing here, help with the groove. Go this way, make sure that it's properly placed. You want this laying flat, not like this. Then you press to make your groove. Your shape will now resemble kind of the side. It'll have a soft memory. So what you want to do now is fold it more on itself to increase that memory and help you know where to place it once the glue is done. So now you have a harder memory shape like this. So put some glue on the inside here, on the angle, and a little bit on the edge. You can put a little longer than it's going to stick out because this will dry anyway and you can just use it for the other sticker, but it's better to have more than not long enough. Then the same thing here, put at the bottom here. If your glue overlaps like this, it'll dry transparent, so it's not that bad. You can, and plus you can smush it out once you have the decal on. Peel that. Peel this. Try to align those folds that you had. And you want to try to make this edge over here as close to the front of the decal, because this is the side that you're going to be watching it. So you want this blend to be as nice as possible. If the blend here on the rear is not as perfect, it doesn't matter because that's the rear of the door. So you want it to look really nice in the front. So now I'm going to press these in over here. Make sure that it's mushed in the center angle there. Now try to rub it on the side a little bit so that it'll merge a little bit better with the front of the decal. Again, this is tricky because of the angles, so it's you don't get it perfect, it's fine. That's what arts and craft is for. Okay, now we do the bottom. Let's get this here. Oops. See, that's the good thing about using glue stick, is you're able to manipulate and move this around. If it was hot glue, it would already be set, and plus you'd have all these bubbles. You never use hot glue for decals, please. Do you see that? Just like that, you have the centerpiece. And in the back, use your nail technique there like we did before. Just blend it in. Take your nail and just rub it against the edge in the back to sort of like fold it over. Make sure it's the 2-4-2-1. Grab another strip. You have to keep sliding it, slide it around. When you're happy with it, just press down, get those groove marks in. Soft memory, go over those lines, exaggerate them. Exaggerate those folds. Gluing time. Put your Yoo-hoo or your glue stick like this all over. Use your glue stick if you're using regular sticker paper sheets. Make sure it's aligned properly. Place it towards the front. Press it in here like that. Make sure that it lines up with the front. Make a nice clean joint. Then use your nail. Blend it. Press it and blend it together. This actually works better because the nail, compared to your finger, you could use your finger too, but the nail kind of like smooths it in, presses it in better. And again, for the back, you can like use your nail a little bit to just move it along. Press it flat against the other decal sheet. So now we're going to make the top and the bottom pieces. Place it as a test. You'll see that it meets at exactly the corner to the other corner. This time make sure to put some on your sticker that you just put from the side sheet there. And this goes all the way here, all the way across. Put this against one of the angle corners, like so. Bring this across. It should reach the other angle. So make sure that you merge it. Try to avoid black line, but if there's black, it's fine. And use your nail again on the back there. Just like the movie. Now we have to do the top. Do a dry run. It should fit the same as the other one, corner to corner. Glue stick. We're almost done. Then it's assembly time. Peel your decal. Place in the center. Then align it. Like so. Again, center, press outwards. Center, outwards. It's looking good. This detail, we didn't have it at Celebration 3. It's something I just added this year in the design to make it more movie accurate. And we are done. Just like the movie. All the grooves on the side. Very nice. Now repeat all these same procedures on the second door frame. One last thing we need to do is cut little pieces of support for the opposite corners of the Doritos. So you want to take about a 1 centimeter strip of scrap foam core and then just measure about 2.5 centimeters each. So 5, 6, 7.5. So then just cut these off. 5, 6 little pieces what you need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, at this point you should now have your layer 1 done, 2, layer 3, layer 4, your 6 Doritos, and your 6 little spacers. Grab your hot glue, magic time begins. Okay, now we're going to simulate the open doors and create the thickness. So you're going to take your little Doritos, these are going to go in between and glued to the back. Now it doesn't matter if it's flush like this, where it's positioned. What's important is how it looks like from the front. You want to keep about a 1 centimeter open gap here so that it's parallel with this angle over here. Take your pencil and put some marks here, so for when your glue is put, you know where it's supposed to go. Put like, you can put like a plus sign here. This will match up there. This will match here. You will not see this, so it doesn't matter. Once you have this in this corner, you're going to want to have the same thing in this opposite corner. So you have a Dorito here, and then you're going to be gluing a second Dorito on the opposite side. Make sure that the angle is exactly the same angle as over here. Turn it around. Put your marks. Another mark here. And then your position. Because when you hot glue, this is going to go quickly because the hot glue dries really fast. So a little dab of hot glue right here. Put it in its marker. Make sure that it's still aligned properly. And then keep that pressed for at least a good 30 seconds. or so. Small thing of glue. Place your thing in the mark. Then make sure it's parallel. Keep it pressed for a little while. Two of the little spacers that you cut are going to go in the opposite corners flat. This is just so that your layer 2 will not wobble. It'll lay against each of these 4 little corners. And smush it in place so you don't see it. Like this. Let that dry. Simply grab your piece number 2. What you want to do, make sure that the bottom, which is the 1 centimeter, is aligned with the 1 centimeter. You don't want to put it like this. You have to make sure that it's aligned properly, because this will be going one in front of each other like that. Hot glue corners only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place this on top of it, and you want to make it as flat as you can so that it matches up at the bottom and on the sides. Then you can press a little bit on the corners like this. Let that dry for 10-20 seconds. Now it's time for the opposite corner. So we sandwiched in on this corner. Now we're going to be placing it on this corner. You don't want to make it stick out more than it is on this side. You want both sticking out at the same distance. So you want to push this in a little bit so that it matches approximately, when you're looking at it from the top like this, you're looking at it down, you have approximately that 1 centimeter that is sticking out. The important thing again, make sure that this line is exactly the same parallel to this corner. You don't want to have a door that's like that. When it's in place and you're happy with the position, put a mark just like this. Glue dot right in the corner. Place it exactly where you lined it up. It should match. You can always adjust it a little bit, the angle, if you want to be more perfect. Keep your fingers on it with a bit of pressure. Let it dry for 10-15 seconds. Now you just placed it over here. You're going to go to the opposite direction. Measure, take a look at it, make sure there's about 1 centimeter sticking out, parallel, looks good. Put marks on it to know where to put it. Place it aligned, turn it. Make sure you adjust it if it's not at the correct angle. Keep pressure on it for a couple of seconds. Dot of glue. Then this goes in the corner. You could even like spin it around a little bit like that. It makes it really like flat when you like spin it like this, but you have only a little limited a time before it gets hard and sets in place. A little bead of hot glue. Same thing, press it in the corner, spin it a little bit if you want. Let this dry a little bit. Time for layer number 3. Make sure your 1 centimeter bottom matches with the bottom over here. This will be placed like this, not like that, because that will be a disaster. Put hot glue, a little dot on each corner. Put your frame over it in place, lift it up, make sure that it's sitting correctly, flat on the surface, aligned here on the sides. When it is, you're going to press it down gently. Keep a bit of pressure on it, a couple of seconds. Grab your remaining frame and place the Dorito the same 1 centimeter distance parallel to here, very important. Okay, flip that around, then put your marks on it. Align it. See, it's perfectly aligned here. That's what you want. Keep your fingers pressed. Couple of seconds. Remaining Dorito will go here like this. Mark it. Hot glue in place. It's perfect. Keep your fingers pressed. Last 2 levelers. Spin it around. Spin it around. Let this cool off for a little bit. 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Align it. Place it on a flat surface. Align the sides. Looking good. Put it back on its bottom like that, and now press the corners. Keep a bit of pressure, at least maybe 30 seconds. And here you have it. The completed large blast door accessory for your Mega Death Star diorama. It's really has all the details for 2020 that I didn't have the time to do for Celebration. I really like all these little grooves. It really makes a huge difference. The top, I'm assuming you don't really care because you'll be putting a ceiling on top of this. But if you're not putting this in sandwiched in between walls and you want to have this exposed because you're going to be looking at it with your diorama wall like this and people will be admiring it this way, you can take one of the regular decals that exists in the decal download section, and then you can print it out and it fits exactly in the width of your large blast door. So this would make it look more clean and complete if you're having this side exposed. This is how you built the large blast door. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to move on to one of the next accessories and continue your Mega Death Star diorama.
Thanks for watching DioramaWorkshop.com. If you want more interactivity, you can follow us on these multimedia platforms. If you have a question about past or future Star Wars Celebration workshops, send me an email at dioramaworkshop.com@gmail.com. If you have a Facebook account, join the official Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders fan club today. If you like the video, please subscribe, share, and tell your friends to come check us out. If you want to see even more Star Wars Celebration crew coverage, click on the link to warp to dioramaworkshop.com, the official Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders website.